Hi everyone, good afternoon. I hope that this finds all of you doing well in light of the current circumstances with COVID-19. I miss seeing you all and getting together for class. So first, I wanted to start off my video by giving a little bit of a trigger warning. The topic that I am going to be talking about is eating disorders, and I know that this is actually something that hits close to home for a lot of us, whether it be from personal experience or knowing someone, a family or friend that has dealt with an eating disorder. So please keep in mind that that's what I'm going to be talking about. So if anyone feels uncomfortable or triggered, you may need to take this bit by bit or just take a break. So the video that I'm going to be sharing is from an Australian TV show called Dance Academy. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's actually really good. I watched it a very long time ago. I think it's still on Netflix. But basically it centers around a dance academy for ballet, and so that is one of the populations, unfortunately, where we see a prevalence of eating disorders because of the intense amount of pressure on body image and body size. So one of the characters actually ends up developing bulimia nervosa. So I'm just kind of going to review some of the diagnostic criteria and talk about how it applies to her. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I recommend that you watch it first so that you can follow along and kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first diagnostic criterion for bulimia nervosa is recurrent episodes of binge eating. I think a lot of us that know about bulimia associate it with the binge and purge that we talk about. So basically, an episode of binge eating is characterized by both of the following. So they have to have both of these in order to meet the criterion. Number one, eating in a discrete period of time of 2 hours or less, an amount of food that is definitely larger than what most individuals would eat in a similar period of time under similar circumstances. So in the video we see that Kat takes to her room an entire package of bread. They don't show her eating all of it, but it's kind of implied that she eats that entire pack of bread, and most of us would never do that, aside from a disorder. And then number two, the second criteria for binging is a sense of lack of control over eating during the episode, a feeling that one cannot stop eating or control what or how much one is eating. Again, this is something that's kind of implied in the video, but she does have that sense that she has to eat all of this food and she can't really control it during the bread portion. Criterion B is recurrent inappropriate compensatory behaviors in order to prevent weight gain, such as self-induced vomiting, misuse of laxatives, diuretics, or other medications, fasting, or excessive exercise. I think it's important to talk about this criterion specifically because, like I said, a lot of us associate bulimia with the binge and the purge, but this criterion actually goes on to explain that there are other compensatory behaviors that a person could be displaying aside from the purging of meals that would make them qualify for bulimia, and that includes excessive exercise. So in the video we see that Kat does have the vomiting after meals, even after she eats the chocolate bars and her friend finds like 7 or 8 wrappers in the bed sheets. She does go and find her throwing up in the bathroom. But we also see that she is showing the excessive exercising. Again, the video doesn't go into that much detail, but you can see that she's working out, she stops, and then she continues to work out because it's just not enough for her. And again, being in a dance academy, that kind of regimented behavior might seem normal to a certain extent, but we can see in the video that it's something that's even kind of tripping off some alarms for her friend. Okay. Criterion C, the binge eating and inappropriate compensatory behaviors both occur on average at least once a week for 3 months. So in the show, you see how her behaviors kind of start off slow and then go increasing until the moment that she kind of has a breakdown and is found, crying in the bed. She's been discovered. People know what's going on. The school's kind of been making fun of her and dealing with that. So in order for her to qualify for the disorder, she would have to meet that criterion, which she does. And then just to note, the specifiers for the disorder are mild, moderate, severe, or extreme. And those specifiers are kind of based on the frequency of inappropriate compensatory behaviors that we discussed. So an average of 1 to 3 episodes during a week is mild. An average of 4 to 7 episodes per week is moderate, 8 to 13 episodes is severe, and 14 or more episodes is extreme. So in the show, we see how Kat was literally binging and purging, doing the extreme exercises for every meal every day, and then including the extreme exercises in as well, which definitely puts her in the severe or extreme specifier for the disorder, which can be really dangerous. Criterion D is self-evaluation is unduly influenced by both body shape and weight. So what you don't see in the video is kind of what triggered Kat to develop her eating disorder, and that is that of all of the dancers in the academy, she had kind of the stockiest build. I say that because she's skinnier than me, skinnier than surely most of us would feel, but in that environment of the dance academy, she was the larger one, and so she ends up feeling very pressured because she doesn't fit the stereotypical body shape of a dancer with a flat chest, a flat behind, a very small torso, thin waist, and so she starts to feel bad about herself because of her athletic build. And it really starts to consume her thoughts and her mind, so which she definitely meets that criterion. And then the disturbance does not exclusively occur during episodes of anorexia nervosa. So because Kat was eating and she wasn't simply starving herself, she doesn't qualify for anorexia. I did a little bit of research to see what other criterion she would have that would match anorexia, and based on what we see in the video, it can be ruled out. Okay, and then the only other specifier aside from the severity is in partial remission or in full remission. So in the video, as you see by the end, she's still struggling with this. It's something she's still dealing with, so those specifiers do not apply to her at that moment. So I hope that you guys learned something about this disorder, and then my thought-provoking question is actually an interesting one, in my opinion. So for an eating disorder, most times there's an underlying issue, whether it's simply a self-esteem issue, depression, anxiety, societal pressures. There are things that influence the individual to feel that they are not good enough, or that they should develop this eating disorder. So my question is actually, what is your opinion? Do you think that we should treat the symptoms of the disorder first, or the underlying cause? So should we, when we come in contact with a client who is dealing with this, should we first get them treated, medical care, and address their body weight and their health, or should we do that psychotherapy to deal with whatever the underlying cause was that caused them to get to where they are? So again, I hope that you guys learned something, and I hope that you are all doing super well, and I hope to see you all very soon. Take care.